Hello ladies and gentlemen, SeKo Starcraft bringing you one of his replays as Omniscient on the ladder. We have MuffinManZ in the top left versus Omniscient. Blue Terran in the bottom right. Still playing random on the ladder. Took a bit of a break for a week or two there just because life was busy. And you may have noticed that MuffinManZ is 7 pooling right now. And that's okay though. It's alright. A little bit of a longer game. I'm going to speed it up a bit. I figured this would be a good game for me to cast because there was a lot of opportunities, I think, to play better on both our sides. And I kind of want to go through that a little bit just to build a bit of a better understanding for myself even as I go through this of what I should be doing a little bit better. And I welcome any feedback and comments other people wish to give me. My desired opening here is to go for a Reaper expand, which is fantastically timed against my 7 pooling as aggressive as you can be opponent. And yeah, just keeping up on my economy, working out with the SCVs. This guy finishes up, immediately start a Reaper, and what's very important for me out of this that probably most of the time I wouldn't do is I actually get down my supply depot here right away. And that's interesting timing to think about because 6 or 7 pool wouldn't be too far different. But I have this wall off just in time to actually deal with what is coming at me. So I immediately rally behind my base, pull out 2 SCVs to repair both the supply depots, and out comes the Reaper. Second Reaper on the way, and down goes this. Now, I'm a little bit flustered here just because I kind of panicked a little bit. But obviously, I'm going to try to get in all the damage I can. Trying to rally this other Reaper to my first Reaper. And you can see I'm letting these Lings get away when I actually want to be chasing them because I know there's no speed. And I'm being a bit of a dick. I can't find them right away. So this is a little bit disappointing. Didn't get quite the attack that I wanted. Finally, those guys are going to go back to work. Factory going down as I wanted. Working on more resources. See the overlords out on the map. I actually in my mind started thinking maybe I could send in a couple of just marines to try and snipe these off. Maybe I'd get him super behind if I did that. See, MuffinManZ actually has made up a good chunk of economy. Like he's actually taken a lead after a 7 pool opening because it has flustered me enough. 2 Reapers out, 2 Queens down for him, great protection, but I know he hasn't expanded yet. 3rd Reaper on the way, factory down, and my next command center. So I feel I'm getting the right kind of stuff out to deal with this. On his side, he is getting down his gas. I'm sure he's going to want to get speed before he pushes out. So for his case, recovering after that 7 pool attack, I think he's actually doing pretty good. And this hatch, actually, when I come in and see it, I consider that to be a little bit worrisome. When I see that, I'm really immediately thinking I'm going to get all in again. Like he's going to build up a bunch of banelings and he's going to come right at me. 3 Queens done now. I see the hatch. I see the gas. Sniped off 1 worker. Just because I thought it was cool. Sniping off a few Lings. They're getting a little too zealous. And they will get away just fine. So back at home, now that I know I have this big of a lead, what I think I should have done is thrown down another command center even on top of this. But I'm too afraid of a baneling bust, so what I'm doing right now is I want to rush out a tank and rush out Hellions so I can control the map better. But he's gotten the fear in me, which is so surprising. I mean, he hasn't even started his speed yet as I look at this. He's got the gas, and I know he's still on 1 base. So I'm like, what the hell could this possibly be? And I'm running around the map now checking for other bases because this is so surprising. So tank is out, and same with the Hellions. At this point, I mean, I should just move into a standard game, I think. Lost 1 of my Reapers, unfortunately. But if we look at, you know, what has actually been killed up to this point, I mean, I've actually been doing a pretty good job so far. So he is getting his speed now, trying to move some of his creep. This would be a good thing for me to try to deny with those Reapers. But I'm still just scouting to see if another base goes up. So once again, I think in my mind what would have been better for me at this point, considering my advantage, is to go into something even more greedy. Get down another command center. I have that tank out. I have Hellions on the way. What is the worst thing that could hit me? And a part of my mind wonders, could he be going like one base Muta? Just something really, really aggressive, something super difficult to play off. I'm running all over the map now to check for that expansion. His speed's about finished, so now he's fine enough to move out on the map. So what I probably would be doing would be very wise for me is to get out these Hellions, get them onto the map with my Reapers, and start controlling space, start getting some damage in, and just put that fear into him, because right now he's just macroing up like a beast, and he's got nothing to fear of me right now. So this is enough units, I think. I could even probably have got 2 more Hellions. Instead, I'm getting down armories behind this. And I think that's actually a mistake for me. I want to get down the armory so I can go Hellbat tank and push across the map, expecting something like a roach. Whereas, I really should just get out another 4 Hellions and start pressuring. Just getting them back in a really tough spot, because he is going Spire, which I don't mind as the Zerg player. Because he's in a tough spot, he knows he is, so he's got to try to do something that is going to make my life tough. Going to start my supply depot wall, getting more resources. So you can see I'm not building any workers right now, and I have the money to. Workers wise, he's got the same amount as me, and I should really, really be getting further ahead than this. It's just me focusing too much on units. And now I see the big pile of drones, I see the Spire, and I know that my time is somewhat limited. If I'm going to go for a push, this is going to be done soon. I have a Thor on the way. I have the money. And by this point, I should have a 3rd command center. I should have a better economy. And I'll be in such a better position. I'm getting down this engineering bay to try to defend up. So now that I have enough units, now is when I feel confident about going for an actual attack. He tries to go for a surround, but Blue Flame obviously is awesome. So now he has 5 mutas on the way. It's not that much. And he's going to try to panic throw down a couple of crawlers. So I've missed my window. If there was a window for me to do a ton of damage, I've already missed it. And I'm already in a lot of trouble. So now as these mutas pop out, now is when I know that my time is limited. So I actually want to focus down that hatchery. But unfortunately for me, he gets out enough mutas that he really stops most of what I'm doing here. I'm getting great damage on those Zerglings, of course. But in the grand scheme of things, I didn't kill the hatch. I lost almost all my army. I have to panic throw down a bunch of missile turrets just to make sure I don't die to his counter, because he could just counter with this, and 6 mutas is enough to really salt your day. And I'm moving down to Thor's. So, position-wise, he's got a big lead. He's got a much better economy than me, even though we're on the same bases. So it's not only just equalized. I actually think he's got a lead now because of this. Now, he's not going to push in. And I think these mutas are almost kind of like a red herring. Like he sees my defenses and he's not building any more mutas, you'll see. Not that he can really afford to gas-wise. Look at that bank of minerals from him too. He's actually going to be moving into a more standard tech route. Infestation, double evo. He should be looking to get down a 3rd base or something, but another giant pile of drones. So with a few Thors and a few Hellbats, I could probably actually push out and get some damage done. But once again, I don't know enough about what my opponent's doing, and I'm afraid. So you can see all the money I've invested into missile turrets that are kind of useless right now. I probably only needed a handful, and I'd have been fine. And I'm still not building enough workers. Still sitting at a meager 32. Running around some Hellions just to scout, see what's going on. I know the mutas are on the map, but what I want to be able to know is where I stand, right? I need to see if he's expanded. I need to see if he's doing better on the economy. I see the timing of the 3rd base. He's going to go over with his mutas to defend. And I'm going to run these away now. You can see he's getting up his upgrades at the same time as mine. More factories going down, more production. But I still haven't got down that 3rd command center. Still delayed. I'm still too worried about him attacking me, when he really should be worried about me attacking him. 3 Thors and these Hellbats would be enough for me to go out and actually cancel a base of his. He's got no tech that can really support him. No Roach Warren, no Ultralisks. Unless he had 20 mutas. He really can't deal with what I've got. But as a Terran player, you're always worried. What if I build 3 Thors or 4 Thors and he just magic boxes me with 20 mutas? I lose everything and now I'm even further behind. So it's a pretty tough spot right now. Command Center's finally on the way, and we're actually going to get a bit of a lull now in the action for quite a while, as we're both probably very afraid of what's happening. My army is pretty decent. It's pretty hard for him to be able to break this. Everything is 1-1. I've got the splash they need to dominate just about anything that's happening. But his economy, once again, is so good compared to mine. He's double me in my economy. Now he's got Ultralisk on the way. 1-1's just finishing, but he's actually already got Adrenal Glands happening. So he's actually in a pretty interesting spot. Not a great spot. I mean, he's got this huge bank he needs to find a way to spend. Which, as a Zerg player, takes some more bases, maybe. Get some more static D, just stuff to slow down the mech army. If your opponent is going mech, it is slow, and it is vulnerable as it's spread out across the map. Go do your damage as you can. I'm keeping my spending, obviously, super low because I'm not making any money, because I'm a total noob loser. Noob loser. Still just that small handful of mutas. The Vipers are even coming in, which I thought was very interesting to see. I don't necessarily agree with the Vipers. I mean, it's really great if you're going up against tanks to pull them out of position. But they're pretty tough to deal with when you're going melee. So even going for a, the cloud over these units doesn't make any difference because all the units are melee. Actually, because I'm in this position and I know I'm not super happy with how things are going, I'm going to go for some drops. Just some things to throw him off. Smartly, he's going to catch a great timing to come down here with these mutas and try to put on a little bit of pressure. A little bit of a misrally on his mutas. Loses a couple of them, but I don't think it matters too much to him. He's not making any more. And that should have been a cue for me to not really worry too much about what's coming at me. Getting more workers down if I could. Finally building a few more. I'm pretty happy with my composition against what she's doing. I mean, the mixture of these Zerglings will just get destroyed by my Hellbats. The Ultras are still only, well, they're 3-1 technically, but that's chitinous planing. So I'm actually pretty happy with the fact that I've got all these Thors here to pressure through that. Now I am finally taking a supply lead. Oh yeah, I had a Hellbat drop. 16 kills. I got 16. Oh yeah, because some of that was earlier in the game as well. Yeah, Hellbats are pretty good. Who's doing this anymore? Up to 27, got another 11 worker kills. Nice. I love my Hellbat drops. It's so out of style right now that you don't really expect too many people to do it. I'm going to throw down some more command centers right now. I've got the money to. I need to focus on my economy. I've got an army I think is going to keep me alive. And I'm very tempted to push out right now, actually. Knowing what he's got here, it's one of those things where I want to go put on that pressure. The Hydras I disagree with. They don't have range, I'm pretty sure. They do have that extra DPS, but they have no upgrades. I think I'm still in 1-1. No, I'm 2-2 right now. So I'm 2-2 against his, well, essentially 1-1 units and 0-1 Hydras. So it's a big army, but it's not really that strong of an army because of the upgrade differential here. You can see I'm making some tanks because I saw the Hydras when he took out my drop. Still crushing out lots and lots of units. Now, he feels like this is his time. He's pretty much maxed out. 3-3 on the way for me too as well. So I'm really trying to keep ahead of those upgrades. PF is down. Bit of a buffer going down as well. And it looks like he is going to go for this pressure. While I am just grouping up my mass army. So PF is in place. Army is coming over. The PF will go down. I mean, there's no way around that. My army's pretty clumped up here. I'm very hesitant to try to push down the map for better surface area because that also leaves me with really poor surface area. And once again, these blinding clouds make almost no difference because most of his units are melee anyways. A couple tanks sieged up in the back, getting some pretty good shots off. So I've lost a ton of supply, but when I look at it, he actually lost a lot more than me. This base is just getting up, and though he took out those command centers, I have a fresh one ready to go. So I'm not in that bad of a spot. Production's still in full swing, still have a little bit of a bank. But now that I have this army, I'm going to try and actually go for just a couple more drops just to buy myself some time, make it difficult for him as I move across the map. Let's look at the units now. 57 workers to 36. The great thing about going for these drops is a lot of times your opponents won't remember to keep pressuring you. I'm very surprised. If these Hydras had range, that probably would have got shut down. But it did not. Still in great position. New base on the way. 3 Thors and Hellbats at the time. I see this base as I fly past. That would have been a sick pickup. Oh well. What can you do? Now I've got enough army right now. Getting pretty close to the level I want to go for my damage. So I'm going to try to pull him out of position with this drop. Now, as a Zerg player, and I've dropped a couple times, having these crawlers is great. But they're not really protecting his base against these kind of things. You see I'm dropping in a really great spot. Same thing with up here. A couple of static defenses is really great to help you stay in this. Particularly when he's moving as a big ball like this and he has no mutas left. He's got nothing mobile right now that can really deal with my Hellbat drops, because Zerglings will just get roasted. Pretty fast pull, but I'm actually just leaving these guys here for right now because why not? Now I feel like this is my opportunity to push out with my army. And what you have to pay attention to as a mech player is don't do this with the army. You see how my army is really getting spread out here? And this is actually really, really bad for me. I'm getting caught without my 3-3 finished, and a lot of my very valuable Thors are getting completely caught out. Happily for me, he engages in a terrible spot against this centerpiece here. So I luck out a little bit in doing this. Going to siege up my handful of tanks. I'll blast through the remaining pieces. Tries to get blinding clouds down, but once again, it's not really that big of a deal. And he's actually going to lose his very expensive Vipers. Oh, I moved these Hellbats actually over to the other side. 9 kills and 7 kills. Hellbats with a medevac and this and the upgrades that they have, which is about to be 3-3, are very tough to kill. This base gets taken out. No problems. It looks like he wants to maybe attack it, but I think he realizes how foolish that would be. These Hellbats, 3-3s now finished, are just cratering through him. And that's just the problem of like panic Zergling making, is that if you have this great Hellbat number, particularly against, look at these 1-1 Zerglings, just don't even touch them. 18 kills and 37 kills. It is kind of a stupid unit. But for a really funky game, when I was watching this, I could see tremendous opportunities for me to play better, get that huge lead when I knew that he was on one base, get out that couple of tanks, you'll be fine against the all-ins, get a wall up, and just get that economy lead, rather than wait around a long time and then give your opponent that chance to come back into it. Hope you guys like that SeKo Starcraft, and we will talk with you later.